Hi everyone, I'm Jaclyn from ASD Life Coaches, and today we're going to talk about something incredibly common yet deeply emotional for so many autistic adults: the late autism diagnosis experience. Whether you were diagnosed in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, or beyond, this video is for you. Because the moment you learn you're autistic, your entire life story suddenly looks different. Hi. A late autism diagnosis can feel like a floodgate opening. Some people feel relief, others feel shock, grief, anger, validation, or all of the above, or none of the above. There's no right way to respond. There's only the human way. In this video, we're going to explore why late diagnosis is so common, the emotional stages adults go through, how to rebuild your identity after diagnosis, if necessary, how to move forward with self-compassion and clarity. If you've ever said, "How did no one see this?" or "How did I not see this?" you are certainly not alone. So why does late diagnosis happen? Autism was historically defined through a narrow lens. For decades, autism was misrepresented as a childhood condition, mostly for boys. I can tell you, when I first started doing this work 15 years ago, the majority of my clients were college-age men. But now, 15 years later, in the year 2025, 2026, the majority of my clients are very late diagnosed females. Misconceptions about requiring very visible support needs. Adults, especially women and LGBTQ individuals, were missed entirely. Masking hides autistic traits. So many autistic adults can become experts at copying social behavior, going under the radar, suppressing their sensory needs, pretending to understand things they don't understand. Maybe they work 10 times harder just to feel normal. Masking helps survive, but it hides the underlying neurotype. And autistic traits were often mislabeled back in the day. Growing up, many autistic adults were told they were shy or anxious. Maybe they were told they were gifted, stubborn, sensitive, intense. Maybe they were labeled as too much or too quiet, but no one connected the dots. Professionals weren't trained to recognize adult autism. This is changing, but very slowly. Many adults end up diagnosing themselves long before a professional ever does. You didn't miss it, the world missed you. Most autistic adults go through a series of emotional phases, not in order and not the same for everyone, but they usually go through things such as relief. Finally, there's a reason I've felt this way my whole life. Everything suddenly makes sense. They may feel validation. You weren't lazy, you weren't dramatic, you weren't broken, you were autistic. Maybe you feel some grief, grieving the years you struggled alone, grieving the parts of life that could have been easier, grieving the younger you who didn't have any answers. Maybe that brings about anger at teachers, parents, professionals, society as a whole, or even at yourself for not seeing it sooner. This anger is normal, and it's okay to feel it. We just don't want it to consume us. Then there might be identity confusion. Who am I without the mask? What parts of me are me, and what parts are survival? How do we integrate this? This is where acceptance grows. You begin to rebuild your identity with clarity, self-compassion, and understanding. There's no timeline for this. Take all the time you need. A late autism diagnosis isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of a much more honest one. Understanding your sensory profile, you can now tune into your sensory needs, your triggers, what calms you, what overwhelms you. This alone can be life-changing. Then rewriting your life narrative. Instead of, "Why couldn't I handle all of that?" you begin saying, "Of course that was hard. My brain works differently." You start responding to your life with compassion instead of criticism. Then redefining your strengths. Autistic strengths become visible. Things like deep focus, loyalty, Analytical thinking becomes more apparent. Your creativity shines through. Your sensitivity to justice or that powerful pattern recognition. You begin to see your brain as an asset, not a flaw. Then you can let go of unrealistic expectations. You don't have to keep up anymore. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to set boundaries with people. You can decline draining situations and choose environments that fit your neurotype. This is not giving up. It's aligning with your reality. Then you can start building relationships differently. Once you understand your communication style, you can form healthier connections with clearer boundaries, less masking, more honesty, perhaps some more comfort. Diagnosis opens the door to authentic relationships. Receiving a late autism diagnosis is not just gaining a label, it's gaining language for your lived experience. It means you can ask for support. You can advocate for your needs. You can choose environments that work for you. You can redesign your life based on how your brain actually operates. This is the beginning of undoing years of misunderstanding and the beginning of creating a life that feels safe, aligned, and authentic. You're not starting over. You're finally starting as yourself. If you're in the middle of processing your diagnosis, please hear me when I say this. You are not late. You are right on time. You are exactly who you're meant to be. A late diagnosis isn't a failure. It's clarity. It's truth. And it's the first step towards understanding yourself in the way you always deserved. If this video was helpful, feel free to like, subscribe, and share. And if you want support navigating your diagnosis, identity, structure, and emotional clarity, visit us at ASD Life Coaches. You don't have to figure this out alone. We're here when you're ready.